Just imagine, you've only got one single dollar in your pocket. Even the spare change lying around your house doesn't seem worth much. You're holding that $1, that's all you've got. But what if that dollar was actually the beginning of something bigger? What if it was the start of a major investment? That's exactly what Margaret Evelyn thought. One day, she decided to test an idea. To turn $1 into $1,000 in just 30 days. Today, we'll explore her inspiring journey. A story of perseverance, creativity, and determination, all born from a single dollar. And maybe, by the end, you'll realize something too. Sometimes, the biggest changes really do start with the smallest steps. On the first day, instead of buying a coffee with the single dollar in her pocket, she makes a decision. I'm going to multiply this money. Sitting in a park, she takes out her phone and opens second-hand apps. At home, she has an old phone cable, a book, and a t-shirt she doesn't use anymore. She takes photos and lists them for sale. The next day, the book sells $5. Now she has $6 in her pocket. Buy a coffee with it? No. On weekends at the local market, she starts buying old magazines for $1 each and selling them for $2. Small but smart, $1, $6, $20. That's when she realizes it's not about having a lot of money, it's about starting the cycle. Every small profit creates the next opportunity. The excuse "I don't have money" no longer exists, because creativity replaces capital. By the end of the first week, she has $68 in her pocket. It's not a big success yet, but that single dollar has already started to turn into a story. By the end of the second week, Margaret had started to act more systematically. She kept track of her earnings, listed her expenses, and set a small goal every morning: I will make $20 today. Her bracelet sales were slow but steady. However, she was no longer just selling products. She was gaining experience. One day, while preparing orders, an idea came to her. What if I personalized these bracelets? She ordered small letter beads online and began adding customers' initials to the bracelets. She raised the price from $5 to $9. The sales didn't slow down, in fact, they increased. People now felt they were buying something unique, not ordinary. Seeing this taught Margaret an important lesson: a small personal touch could multiply the product's value several times. Then something unexpected happened. A customer wore a bracelet and shared a photo on Instagram, tagging Margaret. Her follower count was only 90, but that post reached 400 people. The next day, she received 27 orders. In a single day, she made $243. At that moment, Margaret realized that profit didn't just grow from hard work, it also grew from being visible at the right time. She now had over $400 in her pocket. But more importantly, the question "can I succeed?" had already changed to "how far can I go?" As she entered the third week, Margaret now had over $400 in her pocket. She had established a small but steady income stream. However, she realized something: doing the same thing over and over was profitable, but it was holding back her growth. She needed to make a real leap. One evening, sitting at her computer, she noticed that handmade gift boxes were being sold on a popular online marketplace. The boxes included candles, notebooks, bracelets, and small note cards. I can create my own version, she thought. She combined her bracelets with handmade cards. She spent $150 on designing the boxes, almost half of what she had earned so far. The risk was high, but this time Margaret wasn't afraid. The first week didn't go as planned. Sales were slow. She had few followers, and she hadn't advertised. For a moment, she felt discouraged, but then she realized, I'm not selling a product, I'm selling a story. She began adding short handwritten notes to the boxes. May everyone who receives this bracelet see their wish come true. One customer shared a video of the note, which was viewed by over 10,000 people. From that day on, the boxes suddenly started to gain attention. Within a week, she sold 37 boxes. Revenue, $740. Margaret was no longer just making money. She was learning what it meant to take risks, fail, and try again. Every sale became not just a financial gain, but a psychological victory as well. As she entered the final week, Margaret's account held $740. When she started, she hadn't even imagined reaching this amount. Now, reaching $1,000 was almost within her grasp. At this point, she realized that every move she made was changing the way she thought. She was no longer asking, "How can I make money?" Instead, she asked herself, "How can I create value?" Her final step summed up the entire process. Using the remaining materials, she prepared a limited number of 30-day courage boxes. On the lid of each box was a single sentence. It all started with $1. This small detail resonated with people. Within a week, all the boxes were sold. Total revenue, $1,086. But for Margaret, the real change wasn't in the numbers, it was in her mindset. She now understood that capital isn't just money, it's the power to make decisions. That $1 was only a tool to test those decisions. Her success wasn't about selling the right thing at the right time, it was about not giving up, trying, failing, and trying again. At the end of the 30 days, she looked into the camera and recorded a video. "I turned this dollar into $1,000, but my real gain was confidence. Because when I had nothing, I stopped making excuses and learned to use what I had." That video was viewed millions of times. And thousands of people left the same comment. "I'm starting with my own $1 too." Sometimes, to get started, you don't need a big capital, you just need the courage to take a small step. Now it's your turn. Do you want to start with your own $1? So, what are you waiting for? Maybe your story is about to begin right after watching this video.